In 2009, I decided to leave a corporate career. I started in California's Silicon Valley, all the way to the UAE's oil and gas industry. Learned a lot, met relative success, but I felt this continuous confinement in a corporate structure that left me yearning for more. I wanted to travel to exotic places, and I wanted to gain this freedom of being able to work from anywhere. It's then that I decided to join the digital nomad movement. After a long sabbatical in the mountains of Lebanon, I found myself in Brazil, a business consultant, speaking Portuguese, and learning how to dance forró. From there, I moved to Thailand, writing articles on sustainability online as I learned Muay Thai. And then I ended up in the Green School of Bali, helping promote environmental sustainability between days of silent meditation. As I moved from country to country, I started to see that there was more people like me, lured by this freedom and living and nestled in these communities, and that movement began to grow. In March of this year, I came to Tulum, a town that's been transforming from a counterculture haven in the 90s to becoming the next digital hotspot. I came to see and witness what all this change was about. And then COVID happened. All of a sudden, the streets were emptied, the beach was off limits, and the locals seemed to be happy because it was a throwback to the 90s unplugged days. But for us, all of a sudden, we had our laptops, nowhere to go, and we had no idea what was going to happen next. As the months went by and the restrictions began to ease, people started flooding in back from the US to escape an extremely polarized political atmosphere and wanting to go somewhere where they can work remotely. Mexico, with its 6-month visa on arrival, much improved technology infrastructure, and healthcare, was the ideal spot for them. All of a sudden, we began to see an emerging community of tech entrepreneurs, CEOs, freelancers, all coming together, and we witnessed an emergence of a new community. Of course, the fallout of COVID-19 is still ongoing. Many people have lost their lives, people have lost loved ones. Personally, for me, my own sister has been experiencing the same symptoms since she contracted the virus in March. We've all been affected by this in some way, socially, psychologically, and it would take several TED Talks to do the fallout real justice. But there is a silver lining here. This whole process, allowing people to work remotely, has been sped up and catapulted from a fringe phenomenon to the mainstream and a new normal. The reason this shift to remote work has been much slower pre-pandemic is trust. Business owners, managers haven't trusted their employees to work remotely. They need to see the employees, and management was by attendance, not by results. Being forced to work from home, this had to change. And it was clear that management by results was the way to go. Data is in, distractions working from the office are at least double what they are at home, and this is taking into consideration that working from home during the pandemic, we were all sheltered in with our parents, our partners, with our children, and still, the productivity was higher. Under the old paradigm, employee retention is becoming a lot more difficult. The younger generation gets it. They will not commit to one company for too long. They already understand that there is another possibility of them working and living wherever they want. They've rebelled against this 9-to-5 work schedule. And they're right. The opportunity is here for them to merge their work and life balance and travel while doing it. Statistics are in. Global Workplace Analytics shows us that 76 million workers in the US, that's over half the workforce, now wants to work at least part of the time from home. If that happens, and the projection is that 25 to 30% in 2021 will be working from anywhere, that has a massive impact on real estate, on office space, and on office design. Some projections say it'll be over 1 billion square feet of reduced office space. We've all seen the clearer skies during the quarantine, as there was less commutes, less plane travel, and all replaced by Zoom calls. We've even watched animals returning to places that they've long abandoned, urban centers, when everybody cleared out because of the quarantine. Students are also going through a transformation. The pandemic has forced them also to study remotely. I used to daydream about that option as a student. But now, with blockchain technology, universities can engage and measure all of the facets of student life, from registration, virtual or physical attendance, credential sharing, and even testing at home, knowing that you are the one taking the test. This has completely revolutionized remote education. Now students can work off campus, engage collaboratively with other students, and at the same time have comparable, if not better, academic results. But the story here is when all of these digital workers and students come together, we start to see the rise of new communities. And it's happening. Here, for example, co-working hubs is a platform that brings together all of these different people. But now they don't have to put on a work persona. They no longer have direct competition with employees. They don't have any internal hierarchy. So they come together looking for new meaning. And the norm becomes to help each other out. Let's be honest. We come to co-working hubs not just for the digital technology and to be able to connect to the internet. We come to be a part of the community. Co-working hubs, for example, are embedded in the social fabric of any town or city. It's the perfect platform to connect, to collaborate with others, and to coordinate resources. The question here is, whether we're physically or virtually together, what are we going to do with these new emerging communities, especially after COVID, with this renewed sense of purpose? In my mind, I think an easier one is the existential crisis of the environment. Why not start there? By some estimates, we have 1 decade to get that right. It goes without saying that in 2020, collaborating under the same roof has its challenges. But with a safe environment, there's still room for people and ideas to come together. It's this sense of togetherness that's going to play a significant role in the actual recovery from this pandemic, for our collective recovery. We're creating a new environment, a new consciousness. This is a new culture where we really want to get things done. We're incentivized to get things done. And we're willing to empower other people to do it. This is the new frontier.